With the blue and gold behind me, I thought it was about time that I share these Cub Scout uniform hacks with you. Stay tuned. If you're new to this channel, we're on a mission to inspire and inform new scouting parents and adult leaders. Today, we're talking about uniforms, and I'm going to share 5 hacks to help out our brand new parents. A Scout's uniform is one of the methods of scouting, and should be a matter of pride for your kids. Unfortunately, between the neckerchief slides, the adventure loops, and the hanging patches, there's a ton of little parts that can get lost or damaged when our scouts run around. In this video here, I talked about how you can save money by not wearing all these little pieces to every single event, but events like crossover, blue and gold, and public-facing events like flag ceremonies are the times for your scouts to show off all of their achievements. And to help you mitigate losing these items, let's go ahead and go over some tips. Our first tip is to secure the neckerchief slide. For those new parents out there who don't know what a neckerchief is, these are neckerchiefs. They're that cloth or bandana that some parents call it that goes around your scout's collar. Now, I have on the table here a couple of different options just to show that there are a bunch of different neckerchiefs out there, depending upon if your scout is in Scouts BSA, venturing, or if they've done some sort of ancillary training, or if they've even earned their Eagle Scout. And these are neckerchief slides. These small devices are meant to secure the neckerchief to the collar of the uniform. However, one constant is that your scout is going to run around and eventually lose one of these slides. I've brought out a couple of different slides here to show some different configurations, but I want to draw your attention to the backing of some of these slides. This one right here is PVC on the back side, and then these are official Cub Scouts or Scouts BSA neckerchief slides. And if you look on the back, they have these 2 prongs, and I want you to pay attention to those because those are going to come into play here in a minute. So the hack to keep your scout slide from falling off involves tying a overhand or square knot on the ends of this neckerchief. So what I want you to do is, once you have this on your scout's collar, you're going to go ahead and line up the tails. You're going to take your neckerchief slide and you're going to slide it up on to where it's just about at the top of where this button is. You don't want it too tight on your scout. Now, once you get it up to that point, you're going to take your neckerchief tails and you're going to do a single overhand knot, or you can do a square knot, whatever it is that you really want to do. I prefer just an overhand knot. So you go ahead and place it in there, and then you're going to tuck it up into the actual slide itself, so that way it's hidden, and then you can press down on the back if necessary. I've already done it on this one, and that holds onto the neckerchief slide, mitigating it falling off when your scout runs around. Now, if they undo this because they're sitting there messing with it, I can't help you with that one. That one's kind of on you guys. Now, the only exception that I really want to bring up on this is the use of woggles. Now, this is a woggle, and they're quite common as soon as you start going to wood badge. Back to Gill, well, happy land. Woggles are usually custom made, so they require wrapping paracord or different material around a person's fingers and then making it into the knot that you see here on the table. So that can change the diameter or the interior of each of these different knots. And if you tie a square knot or an overhand knot, it still might fall off. So another recommendation that you can do is that you take your scout's tails that are on the end of this neckerchief, and then you go ahead and place it into the woggle, and then just one more time you feed it through the back and feed it through an additional time. This is going to help hold on to the neckerchief slide, so that way they're not losing it. Now, you don't necessarily have to do this, but I've found that when our scouts have these slides and they want to wear them for a special event, like when we did the Christmas parade, the kids got red and green ones, which they thought were pretty cool. You can do this, and this holds on to the neckerchief slide and mitigates it falling off your kid's neck. Another common item that Cub Scouts lose is their adventure loops. These are adventure loops. They denote the different achievements and adventures that your Cub Scout has accomplished throughout the program. As a scout moves through the program, their loops do begin to build up, as you see right here on my son's belt. These are prime examples of items that you do not want to wear to every single event, because eventually the belt loosens and they do end up falling off. For the last couple of years, I've been trying to figure out a way of how to mitigate my sons losing their adventure loops. I've tried a bit of tape, but that doesn't last very long, and now I've switched over to using zip ties. So what you want to do is you want to lay out your Scout's belt and then begin putting on all the adventure loops. Make sure that this part right here, the teeth for the actual belt loop, is secure, and then move to the final belt loop that you're going to be working with. You're going to take your zip tie, place it around, feed it through, tighten it down just enough, and this brick piece right here is what's going to prevent everything from moving over. Make sure you don't crimp it down too much, because then you can kind of see. Then you're going to want to take your snips, come over here, cut it, and for comfort of your scouts, point it a little bit down so that way these edges aren't very sharp. Once you have done this, I'm telling you that this thing is not going anywhere. Now, once your scout has to add a few more belt loops or something like that, you are going to have to snip and take it off. But this is a fairly decent thing that I found that works really well. And now that my son is a Weeblo, this is not something that he's going to be changing out ever again. So it's kind of stuck this way until he moves on and these go into his shadow box. Another option that I have considered but have not done yet is to have 2 belts for each of my scouts. One without belt loops and one with belt loops to avoid having to remove and add belt loops at different times. This is more of a permanent option because once you are in Weeblos and Arrow of Light, then you move on to the pins that I'll talk about here. So number 3 on the list is to wear different backings on your pins. The frogs that come with the standard VSA pins, they suck. They stab, they don't hold on very well because they're kind of cheaply made. You want to use a round backing like I have right here. This round backing is a piston or top hat style, and its whole thing is that it grips on and it holds things in place. And since the back is flat, it's not going to dig into your chest if you happen to be wearing one of these 10-year pins like I have right here. Your scouts will also appreciate it because once they move into the Weeblo uniform, they start having to wear this adventure tassel thing. I actually don't know what this thing is called. Hold on one second. So it's called a Cub Scout Adventure Rank Colors. I feel like they could have named it something a little bit better. Come on, Scouting America, let's change that. Let's call it something a little bit different. Oh, it has a single 1-star review. Let's check it out. Good concept, poor quality. I like the concept of the Weeblo rank colors, but the design needs to be reviewed. The fringes fray and end up clumping together. After a few months, they look very tacky. I think the bottom fringes should be removed. Huh. Sounds like Denise wasn't subscribed to the Roaming Scouter, or she would have known not to wear the, adventure tassel thingy to every single event and would have saved on the wear and tear. Yeah. But back to the matter at hand. I bought these backings for myself and my son because when I have to wear that 10-year service pin or like my Eagle Scout medal like I wore to the Blue and Gold this week, I don't want to get stabbed in the chest, and I don't want my sons to have to worry about their arms getting torn up by the different backings of their adventure tassels. I think that's a better name, Scouting America. I'm just going to put that out there. These backings hold on better, and they protect your other pins from scratches, and they're not that expensive. I think I spent maybe, $10, $15 on buying 50 or 75 of these. And I do not just keep them to myself. I hand them out to parents. I use them like when I see my scouts have their adventure tassel on. I'll go ahead and put these on because it just saves all the irritation on the arm. In the description below, I put the link down to the ones that I bought. This is one of my Amazon affiliate links, which means if you click and you buy them within 24 hours, I get like 50 cents and you help support this channel. I also have a few other recommendations you may enjoy, so please check those out below. If you like what we're doing here, do all that great YouTube stuff down below, but the best thing that you can do is to share this video with your scouting friends so we can reach as many people as possible. Also, make sure that you mark your calendar for the Campfire chat hosted by Scouter Stan. He does these amazing live events on the first Sunday of the month at 9 Eastern, so you'll have to adjust your clock. That's this upcoming Sunday, so be on the lookout for that. You can ask myself, Scouter Stan, Scoutmaster Bucky, Mike, we really got to get you a name. Questions live on YouTube, so make sure you check that out. Our next two tips have to deal with patches. So for my new scouting parents that are out there, I want to do a quick crash course on patches. I personally put patches into the following categories to kind of help parents understand what goes where and which ones they should and should not be putting on their Scout's uniform. These are permanent, semi-permanent, temporary, optional, and morale. So permanent patches are just as they sound. They're patches that are meant to be permanently on the uniform and they rarely change. I want you to think about things like square knots on an adult's uniform, the different council shoulder patches that you might find everywhere, the World Scout Organization thing, and of course, Old Glory here. Also, I'm going to talk about Scouts BSA ranks here in a minute, but I do consider Cub Scout ranks as permanent ranks because once you attach them to the uniform, they go into this configuration and you really don't take them off. Once they move into Weeblos, they get the Weeblo patch, and when they go into Scouts BSA, they're not wearing these. So that's why I consider the Cub Scout ranks as a permanent versus a semi-permanent that I'm going to talk about right now. So semi-permanent are things that are going to change every so often, but usually it's going to be a couple of years, such as if you are a den leader and then you move into being a Cub Master, you're going to change your position patch like I have right here, but those don't usually change that often, but it is something that is not necessarily temporary, but is something that will change in the future as you move through the program. As I said a minute ago, I do classify the youth scout ranks as a semi-permanent because as you move through the program, you are going to change out these different ranks as you move up. The next category is going to be temporary. Now, those are the hanging patches, the dangle patches, whatever sort of term that you use for it, like I have spread out here on the table. They're the ones with this little rope on the top right here, and they're meant to be worn on the pocket temporarily. And these are another little piece that your scout can wear, run around, and then eventually lose. I mean, these things have a really hard time staying on our uniforms. Even the other day, my adult leader challenge one, that's right here. I was sitting in the car, leaving the blue and gold, and it was sitting in my lap. It had fallen off. So I'm going to teach you guys a little trick that I'm going to start now implementing because I think it's going to help prevent us from losing these patches. And what I've kind of discovered while also working on the belt loops is that you can use these little zip ties to kind of help mitigate losing the patches. And what I figured out is you're going to take your Scout's uniform, and when you go to place the patch on it, you'll take the patch, put it around the button as so, and then you're going to take your little zip tie, and just like with the belt, tighten it down. And now you've made it a little more difficult for your scout to have it fall off. Look at that. Look at that. I think that's pretty cool. The next type of patch is going to be an optional, and really some of the only optional ones they're going to wear are the Messenger of Peace or this Scouts BSA Centennial around the World Scouting emblem, or the 115 year anniversary of Scouts that goes around here. Those ones are optional. You don't have to wear them. You don't have to buy them. Like I said, you just put them on if you want to. The last category is morale patches. These are the patches that you get for going to different scouting events, or maybe you thought that it was cool and you want to kind of put it on your scout's backpack or blanket. Here on the table, I have a couple of different morale patches that I've collected over the last year. Things from like the historic trail out Mount Vernon that we've accomplished, and things that we plan to do in the future, like this Scouts BSA patch that comes from the National Museum of the Marine Corps. Different things like the Conservation Good Turn BSA Wood Badge. Back to you, well, happy land. Or things like the Junior Ranger program out here at the National Park. These patches are not meant to be worn on the uniform. So if you see a kid with it on his uniform or her uniform, like, you don't necessarily need to yell or correct them or be the uniform police. But there are different things that you can do with these patches that I'm going to talk about, which is our fifth and final tip, which is to put the patches on a vest. So the patches that I was just showing you, I think that they're pretty cool, and my kids do as well. Unfortunately, they can't wear them on their scouting uniform, and neither can I. But one thing that I found that is the best way that you can go ahead and show off these patches is to use a vest and have them professionally sewn on. I recently bought a sewing machine that I'm going to do a review on here probably in the near future, so that way that I can sew my kids and my patches onto a vest. Now, a vest doesn't necessarily have to be the one like this. This is the official red Cub Scout vest that is on the Scout Shop. You can go with a different one, like right here. This one is from Amazon, linked down below. They're made of the same material practically, and they do the same thing, which is to allow your scouts the opportunity to show off all of their different accomplishments and to show all the different adventures that they've been on. But hey, do you think that there's anything that I've missed, or do you have a hack that you want to share on our channel? Please leave a comment down below. As always, I've been Matt with the Roaming Scouter, and I'll see you out there.